Peace family, Vie Darling, the cosmic queen and your intergalactic interpreter here, and we're just going to do some energy healing and purification and cleansing. So let's get into it. Take a seat, ground into your support, and if you want to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths, I think that's probably going to help. Let's go. To really relax into your seat, into your support. I really want you to just let your seat, your couch, the floor, the wall, whatever is supporting your body on the earth, I want you to relax into that and truly just let it hold you. Let everything go, because I can feel the tension in your body. So let's take a deep breath in through the nose for 4 counts. Hold for 6 counts, and we're going to exhale out the mouth for 10 counts. So let's do this. Another. Whoever this is for, to just slow down. Slow down. You're rushing to get to the finish line, but what you have to realize is there really is no finish line. There is only the journey. And I think this idea of binary thinking is something that's probably not super helpful for you. Going from point A to point B, from point B to point C, from point C to point D, that can be helpful in creating a plan and getting through your steps or whatever. But going from A to Z, let's bring it, this idea of I gotta go from A to Z, so this is a really big deal. I gotta rush through from A to B to C to D, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Are you really getting the most out of point A? Are you really getting the most out of point B? Because the rushing that you're doing to get from point A to Z, by rushing through the lessons that are learned from A to B to C to D, those all build on one another. And the reason why you have to keep returning is because of not fully being present and not taking your time in order to fully transcend. And then you have to go back and you have to do soul retrieval when that happens. And so this is contributing to why you might continually have to keep starting over again. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to remove some cords and we're going to ground you, so that like you feel more connected to stability. So let's get into that. Let go of all of this regret that you feel about the past, about your actions. You need to forgive yourself. So we're going to call in some violet flame. This is a control mechanism. This like making you hate yourself, making you resent yourself, not allowing you to embody self-love. This is a control mechanism, and we're calling in some violet flame to just do away with that. We're calling in 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 amethyst, angel aura amethyst, but we're calling it angel, we're calling it or amethyst collective. And I also want to call in the 𝗪𝗶𝗱𝗪 collective to purify this and help you with your transmutational process. Let's call in the living waters as well. It's actually connected to your heart space. So there's some heart healing that needs to be done. There's some forgiveness that really needs to happen. And it is connected to your sacral chakra. It is connected to your sacral chakra. I do feel like you have some regrets about the things that you've done and who you've done it with and the relationships that you've had. And I want you to know that you can let go of those relationships, you can remove those cords, and you can transmute and transmogrify, that is to say completely change the physical manifestation of your sacral chakra by doing things differently, okay? I'm going to ground you now to the crystal core of the 5D earth. This may take some time for you to really embody this because I do feel like your root chakra has a lot of transformation that needs to happen. There's a lot of spiritual alchemy that needs to happen for your root chakra in order for you to be able to really ground into that 5D crystal Christ consciousness part of the new earth. And if you need help with that, I would encourage you to book an oracle healing session with me through my Etsy. The link's right there, because this is something that's going to take a bit more than one session. But what I will say is this much. Call in unconditional love and also maybe ask the universe to help you to open up to receiving the truth and the fact and the reality of unconditional love, to help you to tune into the infinite, so that you are no longer tethered to that which disempowers you and which binds you. This ego death that needs to happen is on its way. So you're going to definitely want to get into doing some grounding meditations. I would encourage, like, on a semi-regular basis, like 2 to 3 times, maybe 4 to 5 times a week. So if you're coming here from the TikTok that I made, let's continue doing a little bit more of this work together. Definitely felt also that, like, there's energy that needs to come up and out. there's an expose that needs to happen, there's some truths that need to be told, and you're the one who needs to tell them. Notice I'm coughing. I had some saliva go down the wrong tube, and that might sound like TMI, but I feel like that's important to say, because you are being encouraged to stop holding in, like, you're taking in the wrong things and holding on to the wrong things, and then, like, when it's time to let go of it, like, it's always a crisis because you have been taking in the wrong things and holding on to the wrong things for way too long. I definitely sensed in the body, in the chakra system, in the energy system, tension, clenching, tightness along the spinal column, especially with like the inhalations, which tells me that there is an overdeveloped sense of not even so much responsibility, but hypervigilance. Very hypervigilant, always on alert about like what is coming to you, perhaps living in a state of anxiety, living in a state of fear. And what I would really encourage you to do is consider what relationships in your life are causing you to feel that way. Some of those things you just need to let go of. People, places, situations, institutions, all that kind of systems, that kind of stuff that exists, quote unquote, outside of you. But ultimately it's the dynamic, and it has to do with your self-concept. Do you believe that you have to be in relationships that are non-reciprocal? Do you believe that you have to stay in relationships where you are being exploited, where you are being extorted, where you are being marginalized, where you're having to be concerned about what a person's going to do or say? Do you believe that you are required by some power greater than you, some divine force that is forcing you to be in relation to things that cause you harm actively? Because if you weren't experiencing harm, or if you hadn't experienced harm, you wouldn't be afraid. But this is a matter of dispelling fear and dispersing fear. And so we're going to do some work to do that. But what I want to let you know is, I think that sometimes people think that these things happen immediately. And I definitely know people who have created Anna Core, for instance, a truly incredible healer. I've worked with her. I trust in the work that she does, and I've felt the immediate impacts of her work and the progress that I have made in terms of my shadow work journey and my healing. Like, she was instrumental in that work. But my work is deep and thoroughgoing, and it is about practicality, and that is to say developing a practice and praxis. And so what I want to tell you is, like, this is deep stuff. You may feel this process, because I saw a phoenix rising out of the root chakra and spreading out through the solar plexus chakra. And this was sending up power that spread out through the throat chakra, which is why I know that you have things on your heart that you need to express. Perhaps you were harmed in your childhood, or you were harmed in the past and you did not tell anybody about this harm that you experienced. Perhaps you were afraid of what would happen if you told. Perhaps, you've been holding on to the burden of blame for whatever happened and distracting yourself with work, with substances, with other relationships. But deep down, you've never been as happy as you were before that relationship, since that relationship, or since that experience happened. And for some of you, I get the sense that this is a romantic relationship that it reminds me of a Jenny Holzer quote where basically she says, you have to wonder about the criminality and the sanity of the people involved in this relationship, because it is insane. And since then, you've continued this pattern. Some of you, it's childhood experiences of harm that you've been trying to ignore and running away from for your entire life. Some of you, like, you recognize that, but you're having difficulty forgiving yourself for your own part to play. And what one must understand, sometimes the only part that you have to play is that you were there, and that you were there. And like, that's it. But you don't have to blame yourself for that, because especially if you were a child, that's not your fault. And also, people have free will to do whatever the heck they want to do. So I really want to invite you to forgive yourself. I feel the root chakra clenching up, and we're just going to open that. I know that's a bit scary, but we're going to open that up, and we're going to open up the sacral chakra. This does have to do with intimate relationships, and we're going to open up the solar plexus chakra. You may have suffered from irritable bowel syndrome, inflamed bowel disorder. You might have issues like that. We're coming up and we're opening up the heart chakra. Brokenheartedness, you may have suffered and struggled with depression a lot, betrayal wounds, lack of trust for others, disorganized attachment systems. You may have been in a lot of runner-chaser dynamics. Now this heart chakra stuff is hard, and I feel you shutting down again. Let's come back to the solar plexus chakra. It's in your stomach region right here. We're gonna come back here, and I'm gonna call in the sun. I'm gonna call in the great central sun. I'm gonna call in diamond sun plasma. Let's pause right here, and we're gonna bring this up to the heart chakra. This is what is keeping you from your manifestations, because it's keeping your Merkaba field from integrating in the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And part of that is because you're not seeing your divinity in all aspects of yourself. This is why you need to forgive yourself. Let go of this burden. It's time for you to transform your relationship to your trauma, to your past. It doesn't always have to stay the same. This is the timeline jumping, and this is the soul retrieval. So we got rid of a lot of that just then. Like I was saying, this process may carry out throughout your life. It is really contingent upon how willing you are to do the shadow work, how fast these changes come and manifest themselves. But you're going to see this playing out in your life and in your relationships over the course of the next month or so. You have some stuff that's leaving through the feet. You may have felt very stuck in place. And we're just going to slough off all of that energy. We're going to give it to the molten lava of the old earth, so we can make more space for you to come into the new earth. That diamond sun plasma integration, very, very helpful. We're casting out all of that past, all of the karmic past. We're casting all of that stuff out. We're letting it go. Gently. We're calling in the white dragon to bring in white, the golden white Christ light. And we're pulling this out. There's a tether in your root chakra that has like spread onto your sacral and the rest of your chakra system. And this is because of the trauma that you experienced. We're going to call in violet flame of Saint Germain. We're going to call in Archangel Gabriel. I'm gonna shake this all out. I'm gonna call in the living waters to come through the crown chakra and purify all of this out. The bee just came. It's a sign that it's working. Some stuff is getting stuck in like the left breast area. This has to do with like maternity. Maybe you've been caring about others more than you've been caring about yourself. Maybe you had a childhood in which you had to become an adult way too fast and play a caretaker role that wasn't right for you because the adults in your life were unable to take care of themselves and, you know, be appropriate, because it is inappropriate, and so that fell onto you. We're taking that out because you may have also experienced like sickness with your breast, especially your left breast. You may have experienced issues with your left arm. I'm also getting to let you know, stop using deodorant with aluminum in it because it is not good for you. You already have enough problems over there. You don't need to contribute to it by using deodorant with aluminum. Breast cancer may run in your family, or you may have someone in your family who had breast cancer. And this is not hereditary. This is because of some of you, it's just a lack of feeling like feminine enough. Like you see yourself as not woman enough, or not like feminine enough. You may not have gotten the proper nurturing that you needed in your childhood. And this is showing up in your life. This also overgiving and caring about others more than you need to. So there is like, you know, issues perhaps with breast cancer because there's something wrong with the feminine channels that have come, they're out of balance. You also may hate your femininity. You may be really out of balance because of this toxic feminine energy in your life. You may have had a narcissistically abusive mother and really resent mothers and motherhood and maternity, and yeah, that's a big problem I'm sensing here. So that's something that we're going to call in violet flame. You may have scapegoat templates in terms of your femininity. You may have experienced a lot of misogyny and just been violated by cis heteropatriarchy, basically not being allowed to embody your feminine energy, and this is keeping your Merkaba field from integrating. So I'm going to purify this right side, and then we're going to do some work to integrate these disparate halves of ourselves and really bring in some grounding. I'm feeling it in the sacral chakra. This is really where you need to forgive. You need to forgive what happened to you. Which is to say, like, no longer allow it to emotionally control you. Forgiveness doesn't mean letting someone off the hook or not holding someone accountable for the harm that they caused, but it is an introduction of unconditional love into the situation. The situation, okay, overall, and that is how we are going to alchemize what happened to you into gold so that we can get some prosperity flowing in your life again, okay? You think too much. You're too calculating. You feel like you always have to do, go, go, go. You need to let that shit go. Always calculating, always thinking. This is part of the anxiety that you experience. It's inflamed. Your masculine channels are inflamed, actually. Why? Your masculine channels are inflamed because you do too much. You need to stop doing so much. You need to be open, become more open to receiving. This is what you need to get into balance with. You may have had a lot of scarcity in your childhood. You may have experienced a lot of lack. So let's take care of that. Right. Blue shift means that we're moving faster. We're moving higher frequency. Divine masculine is about prosperity. It's not about war. It's not about going out and taking, because that indicates that you don't have enough, you can't generate enough on your own. Divine masculine is about cultivation. It's about turning inward and cultivating your own garden so that you can produce effectively. You don't need to go and take from anyone else. It's all inside of you. You really should develop a meditation practice. It's going to help you creatively, and this is going to also help you to connect to your divinity that lives within you. How can you be tapped into the divine masculine, the divine feminine, if you're not even tapped into the divine whatsoever? You don't even believe in divinity. Like, you don't believe in the sacred, you know? Like, because profane things happen to you, your belief in the sacred has dwindled, and you need to work on tapping into the divine in every single thing that you do, in all of the mundane aspects of your life. And if there's anything that, like, you just feel like this cannot be made divine, then maybe that's something that you need to, like, get out of your life. Like I said, these relationships, you know what I mean? So stop going outwards and start cultivating your garden. That's what you need to be doing right now. It's gonna look different for different people, but what I get the sense is, like, you're looking for the abundance outside of you because you've been siphoned from, but it's because you belabor wrong relationships because you have not been valuing yourself effectively. And it's really about your self-concept that needs to change. You need to understand that you were fearfully and wonderfully made by the Most High Divine Creator. You are sacred, you are precious, you have a spark of divinity within you. You are a dewdrop of divinity. You yourself. It doesn't matter what anyone else chose to do to you. Like, none of that stuff matters. And it really doesn't matter even, like, what you did in the past. Each and every single one of us always has the opportunity to stop and turn around and atone, and to get right with God and to get right within. So I'm going to invite you to do that now. I'm calling in some golden white Christ light, but particularly golden, and I'm actually calling in, like, unicorn energy, because you need to start valuing the ways in which you are unique, especially as we move into this age of Aquarius. What makes you special, what sets you apart, is what is going to pay you. That is like what is going to tell you, okay, I'm in right alignment, I'm with the right people, I'm where I'm supposed to be, is when you're open and honest and real about who you are and what your needs are, okay? So you need to start expressing yourself more. You need to start telling the truth more, all right? You need to keep it a buck 50-50 and stop playing these games, all right? So that's what it's giving. I feel like this is a really good place for us to end. So I'm gonna just like really I feel some stuff like being pulled behind me. And I feel like you are breaking out of your cocoon. Your wings are sprouting. Your wings are sprouting. And you've gotta sprout them to fly. No matter the difficulty, the challenges that you might face upon breaking out of your cocoon, the resistance that you might face is natural. That's a law of motion. That's like a Newtonian principle of physics, you know what I mean? So there's gonna be resistance naturally. That's part of gravity. That's part of motion. Equal and opposite reaction, but that doesn't mean that you stop pushing forward. You don't see butterflies, well, you might, but they die. Butterflies, they even though it's hard to break out of the cocoon, they do it anyway. They go from being a caterpillar, they build their cocoon, then they completely dissolve into a goo. Imagine how painful that must be. But the DNA code to do that is written inside of them. They completely dissolve into a goo, and then they become a butterfly. That is a painful experience in and of itself to integrate. That's transmogrification inside of that cocoon that they built, okay? So don't revile the cocoon. The cocoon is here to keep you safe. The cocoon is here for you to be transformed into that which you were always meant to be, this beautiful, wonderful crystalline, okay? Think about it, chrysalis, all right? And then you gotta push yourself out of the cocoon. If someone tries to open the cocoon for you and let you out, that is actually hurtful for butterflies. They don't develop the strength to fly unless they push themselves out of the cocoon. So if someone is enabling you and they you try to cut corners, you try to take the easy way out, you're not going to be able to fly. You're going to just be this beautiful thing that can't even reach its full potential and live its natural born life. And that's going to be devastating. And then what was all of the pain and hard work for? You know, which is also a way for me to say, if you're somebody who is codependent and you're enabling people and you're obsessed with fixing people and, oh, I can help this person, stop that, because you're harming them. Let it go. Fix yourself. And then you'll learn how to have an interdependent relationship, which is right within the context of spirituality, okay? That's all that I'm getting. I do feel like you have now been tapped in deeper to the crystal core of New Earth. This is going to really be transformative for you. You are definitely going to need to drink a lot of water, get a lot of sunlight as much as you can, get a lot of rest. You may be very tired for the next few days as I've communicated these codes to you. Let's shore up your chakra system. It's already higher vibrational, so there's protection in that, but we want to just put some protection. So 𝗂𝗵, I ask you to protect these Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Michael, coating your nervous system in sun, diamond sun plasma, sun plasma. Keep you nice and nourished and protected, to have you activating those light codes, tethering you to the diamond crystal core of the earth. And I'm just going to put a bubble of protection around your head right now. It's a unicorn, so a bubble of protection so that you are operating from a space of clarity, so that you are seeing clearly and you are staying true to yourself. Call upon the unicorns for help and support as much as you need. Yeah, you might have a really itchy head as well. You might want to wash your hair because, yeah, there might be like buildup of like, you know, product in your hair, but like there might even be dandruff or whatever, so you need to be moisturizing your head. You need to take better care of your head, your crown chakra, and your hair, your head, your scalp. You need to take better care of, because you're gonna be experiencing a lot of activations of the crown chakra, and this can make your hair very dry and brittle, and it can cause it to break a lot, so you're just gonna be wanting to moisturize that. And yeah, just make sure you stay hydrated and that you stay nourished. I love you all truly and deeply, and I will see you on the flip side. Book a personal oracle healing session with me, or if you want to book a cosmic wellness coaching package with me, this is what we do. And all of the information is in the Etsy, it's in the description box below. Take good care and happy hunting.